Welcome to the Halfarsed Heresy. Project's coming thick and fast now. I've just finished the lava base project. Now we're on to the eBay flip lifted from We Paint Minis. Go and check them out. I'll link them in the description. The idea is you pick up a battered old miniature from eBay and do it up what you think is better. I'm cheating a little bit. I already had this one. I bought it as a job lot and I won't be selling it on, but I like the idea. So we're going to take this Primaris I picked up and see if I can do a better job. Previous owner, I think, just didn't finish it. It looks like he got halfway through and then quit on it perhaps. That came with a few Deathwing Knights and a Watcher in the Dark. So I'm going to take both of these as the main basis of my project. What I need to decide is, do I strip it right down or work up from there? If I do the proper DA scheme, I could work from there easily, but as with a few of the other Primaris, I've enjoyed doing a Deathwing scheme, flipping it around. So really good bone scheme, and it makes the cloth and the robes pop with the Caliban green. So I like them. Or do I go original, as they should be, Caliban green? In fact, no, the Watcher in the Dark's definitely going to be opposite to this. Well, I have both the same. So either way, I'm going to do a bone white cloth with a little Caliban green foot sticking out for him. But with him, I haven't decided yet. So when the next part of the video comes up, after I've talked to you here, we'll know which way I'm going. As you can see, I've decided to go with Deathwing, which meant stripping him with patented Wilco meths and a glass jar to shake him about in. That was 2 goes over with a toothbrush, 2 dunks, a minute each time. And he's ready for undercoating. And when I undercoat him, of course, I'll be doing the Watcher in the Dark as well. On closer inspection, I need a bit of mould line work. I've already done him, but yeah, and I wanted him on a different base, so I've chopped him off. And if you see, there's some quite severe mould lines been left on him, so I'm going to work on those before I undercoat. I had planned to give him a fresh, brand new base, but that isn't in the spirit of things. Although it's a bit wrecked from chopping him off, I'm going to recycle this one into some sort of bespoke base. It would be wrong of me not to, considering most of my videos are on bespoke bases, so I'm going to take this really battered one and reuse it and give him something good to stand on. For those wondering how I start my bases, I always work with templates on paper or card, and I look at the shape of the connecting parts, whether it be feet or a piece of rock like that one. And then I will start with that. I'll not look at the model so much, and then I will work from that. What does it look like? So I know that's a bit of wall. I'm already thinking I might extend the wall down there, and because this is chopped and wrecked on one side, lower that side, so it's actually like a Pac-Man shaped base where the wall will be there and this will be really stepped down to the bottom bit, if that makes sense. So there'll be a step in the base to hide or remove that hole. Again, working from the broken wall that he's sitting on, some sort of like a lower level of the wall, build it up something along the lines of that, and then this bit will be removed so it's double height. And with that mock-up, I'll be able to work on the base while we have drying times with the paints. But that's just the mock-up of what it'll look like. No, I won't be using cardboard. I'll be using things like green stuff and spares to build it up. I've removed the offending hole I'd hacked in it, and now it's a slightly better hole that at least I can work with. I refused to give up on it. Actually, I was going to chop that whole edge off, but I think I can recover some of it, so we'll see. Mould removal and undercoating complete. Xandri dust, not my favourite undercoat. I bought it just to stop having to do several layers of Ushabti bone, and I think it's a bit dark. It's not my favourite, but I'm not going to waste a £10 can of Citadel Xandri dust, so we're going to be sticking for that for the foreseeable future. But yeah, I'll be on to my Deathwing scheme tomorrow. Right, here we are. Nice new cutting mat arrived today. I've used green stuff for the first time to give a brick effect. I hope I can tidy it up. I'm not liking the look of that at all, so I'm going to try and file it into a bit better shapes to go under that brickwork by his foot. I think some sort of pond perhaps here. I don't know if anyone else has this. They have your main spares that you keep neat and in proper things, and the tatty spares that is absolute trash that is from really old fashioned stuff. So I'm going to dig in here for stuff that I don't mind if I lose, and perhaps have some sort of, my lad came up with the idea, in the brickwork, a tube with water sort of running out into here as if there's like a drain or something. That's where I'm thinking of going with this, and we'll see what we can come up with. And after looking through the pot of doom, maybe this Harrier jump jet wheel as the exit point for this clear sprue to be painted to look like water perhaps. I don't know if that's going to work, but I'm going to give it a go. Not going to lie, this is a horrible base at the minute. I'm going to stick with it all the way to the end. Even if it fails, I can always put him on a different base, but I've tidied up the bricks a little bit. It was easier to chop them than file, just shave them down to what I wanted. About to do my first layer of dry brushing with Ushabti to make Deathwing awesomeness. Top tip, use separate dry brushes for light and dark colours. It might seem obvious, but I didn't know this when I got back into it. This I use for greens and reds and all that lot, and this I use for whites and creams. You'd be surprised, no matter how much I clean this one, it usually leaves streaks if you use white, so I have two separate dry brushes for that. So I'd actually video me dry brushing. As I said, I'm not a huge fan of the Zandri dust, so this is going to be a massively heavy dry brush because I prefer the Ushabti bone for Deathwing. So first things first, massively heavy, leaves the recesses nice and ready for sepia. Obviously the robe is going to be green. Caliban, do my usual scheme for that. So yeah, that's what I'd say is a heavy dry brush. I may revisit it if it needs a bit more. An old Watcher in the Dark. Again, I find it better always go up and down against the grain. If you go across, you fill it too much. So watch where they are. A bit like edge dry brushing, but that way you do really keep all your recess areas that you want. And that was it. Thick, heavy dry brush, wait for it to dry, and then I'll look if it needs another coat, or I'll go straight on to shading. Sepia shade drying, leftover milliput as it always is, and the base now has what's going to be the water part. I've left what I'm hoping will look like a splash effect when I'm painting it, and as we say, that will be water running into it or something. I don't know if it's going to work out, but that's where we are right now. Now that's my bone scheme complete on the Watcher. It's Zandri dust base, heavy dry brush of, well, up brush of Ushabti bone, heavy sepia wash, then another dry brush of Ushabti, and then ever so slight edge dry brush with a mix between Pallid Witch flesh and Ushabti bone. I think Pallid Witch flesh on its own is too bright, and I only concentrate on the very edges and where the light would hit it. So none went on the back, just around the edge of the cloak, on tops of the arms and that front leg, and that's basically it. I don't like the Zandri dust base. I think I'm going to need to have to bin that off, but I'm happy with how that's turned out, and I'll go on to the marine next. Not the worst Deathwing scheme I've done. Added the Pallid Witch flesh highlight. Again, mixed it with Ushabti just to dim it down a little bit, but overall I'm very happy with it. As happy as can be considering it's Zandri dust. A little update, as the Watchers in the Dark should look. That's my one that came in with the command set. And Jeff is finished. Deathwing colours. Just reversed it really, and I really like the look. That turned out well. So that's one of the figures already saved from eBay. Okay, it wasn't painted, but it needed some work because it hadn't been trimmed properly, so that's done. Zachariah, I'm just working on the cloak, Caliban green down, and the base, which I wasn't sure about, isn't looking too bad either. Better than it was. I don't know how that water's going to look, but I haven't completely give up on it. Let's see if we can pull something out of the bag. As always, the further into a project gets, the messier the work area gets. I've gone for, I think I've messed up, I think it looks like ocean paint rather than just a little pool paint, but live and learn. I didn't follow a guide, that was just my attempt at it. Several blues and some white edging. Obviously the water's going to be running into that ditch bit. Mechanicus grey bricks, Nuln Oil, and then I'll dry brush it when it dries off, and Stirland mud. Again, it's not the worst base in the world. As for the guy, I've got my Caliban green down. Started my first layer of mute green, is it? No, that'll be the last layer. Warpstone glow for the robes. I like the robes on Dark Angels. And that isn't, a lot of people use Mephiston. I find Mephiston too bright, so I mix 50% Mephiston, 50% Army Painter, Chaos Red to make it a darker, richer red. There we go. And I've started painting this to hopefully match that brickwork with my fake brickwork. So just to show how truly sidetracked I get, my original plan was to use, I'm rushing because that's going to harden in a minute, to use that to make some sort of water coming out of this, like a pipe into that bit of water. And I thought, I've got one of these in my spares pot. I'm going to do like a gargoyle sitting on the edge, do it like a rock one, and have the water coming out of his mouth. Got to go because that stuff's actually hardening. I managed to pull it off. That's hardening now. Doesn't look much, but I'm hoping when I paint it, it'll look a bit like water. Well, as always, leftover bits of green stuff. Just a quick update. I bought a pack of dental picks and one more expensive one that is more hard wearing. £2 for the pack, £2 for the more expensive one, and they're really good for moulding and working with small things like that. So I'd advise anyone to pick up a cheap set of dental picks. Shaping up quite nicely. Got the gold on. Deathwing, well, not Deathwing, but Deathwing colours for the shoulder pad. Bit of silvers and golds going on the little keys and the sword. Started on the bolter, and I'm about to drill out the gun. The green is almost done. I need to put a Waywatcher glaze on it, and the red will be done when I do a Wave Rider red, is it? Very slight highlight, but that's where we are. Quick update, because I always forget once I'm painting. Sword to do, the plasma effects on the gun to do. Done the feather quite well. I don't usually bother with the feathers like that. Just about to do the pouches. I'm going to go for a metallic look, so I fed it with the brown stuff. Just the gun holster will be brown, and a stone effect for the skull on his waistband. And that's about it, where we are at the minute. Fabricated the gargoyle head with the water coming out, and that will go on the base tomorrow. Right, for the most part he's done. This is more a case of just seeing him before anything goes wrong. I've got to add plasma glow. That can always go a bit wrong. And this will be the first time I'm trying glowing power sword effects. So I thought I'd take a quick rid of him nearly finished in case I wreck it or something. The water's done now. It sort of looks like the water's coming out of the gargoyle head maybe. It's better than I thought it was going to look when I started. It's probably not top end or anything, but it's okay. And there he is done. Just going to spend the next hour or two putting on plasma glow and the power sword glow. And here we have the finished product. eBay salvage, both from eBay. The Watcher in the Dark was not painted. I just had to tidy it up a bit. The Primaris had to be stripped right back to bones because I wanted to do the Deathwing scheme. Bespoke base because I chopped a big hole in it, chopping him off for undercoating. So I went with a water effect. I think it's alright. Can't really get a good view here. Let me pull it back into the light. So there we have him. Deathwing scheme. First time I've done a power sword glowing effect. 50-50. I think I could have done better, but it's a learning curve. Plasma glow went alright. There's the bespoke base. I think the water looks a bit dark. Looks like sea. I should have went with a lighter blue. I made those bricks out of green stuff, so it went with the base. The gargoyle is extra from the Rhino, Chaos Rhino tank. I did the water made with green stuff as well, painted it down. Overall, very happy with it. Shout out to We Paint Minis for giving me the idea of the eBay thing. And the Watcher in the Dark, opposite colours. Straight up opposite of the other one that I've got. But yeah, I'm really happy with those two. On to the next project.